Federal law makes it clear that presidential records are not the property of the individual person who holds the office. They are public property. They cannot be destroyed. And now the National Archives is taking the unusual step of asking the Justice Department to investigate whether Trump's handling of official White House records, including classified material, does in fact violate that federal law. Now, within the past hour, we got word from the New York Times about what could have prompted the National Archives to take that step. Here's the headline. Archives found possible classified material in boxes returned by Trump. Quote, the National Archives and Records Administration discovered what it believed was classified information in documents that Donald J. Trump had taken with him from the White House as he left office, according to a person briefed on the matter. The discovery prompted the National Archives to reach out to the Justice Department for guidance. The person said, the department told the National Archives to have its Inspector General examine the matter. But the Times doesn't know what happened next. Meanwhile, the Washington Post, which first reported on the National Archives' referral to the Justice Department, also reports that these discussions between the two agencies are preliminary. It's not yet clear whether the Justice Department will investigate this. But what does it take to decide whether Trump's record-keeping regimen breaks the law? Joining us now is Ilana Cohen, former Associate White House Counsel and then General Counsel of the Office of Management and Budget during the Obama administration. Ms. Cohen, thank you for being here tonight. I assume you're well briefed on what you're supposed to and not supposed to do with documents, not just for the president, but in these jobs that you've worked in. It's pretty clear. I mean, it's got to be President 101 to realize you can't destroy documents in the White House. And yet we've been hearing reports for years that Donald Trump does this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's absolutely crystal clear when you enter one of those jobs in the White House about what you can and can't do with presidential records and what you can do with your own records. And, I would have never expected anyone among my colleagues to have, torn up their records and taped them back together or taken them even with them home to their residences.
There was even talk and reporting about the fact that staff who knew the rules would go in right after Trump, wherever he was, retrieve documents that hadn't been ripped up and take those that had and try and piece them back together, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully. So it's not that everybody in the White House can claim we didn't know that you're actually supposed to keep this stuff. It was obvious that you're supposed to. So what's your best guess as to what this habit of ripping things up was about?
Yeah, and I'll commend those staffers who pieced the documents back together again. I mean, that must have been a difficult thing to actually do in light of the fact that their boss deliberately flouted the rules and the law. But my best guess is that the White House counsel would have repeatedly told the president as well as the staff how important it was to preserve documents, and that there's really no excuse then in light of the fact that those warnings would have inevitably gone out and have reportedly, gone out as late as, 27, right up until the end of the administration. There's no reason really why he would have then taken those documents with him to Florida. There'd be no excuse for that.
So let's explain that. You're packing up the White House to move out. Clearly, there's some stuff you brought to the White House that's yours, and those go in your personal boxes, I suppose. But they literally put aside separate boxes, and it had, we believe, the Sharpie weather thing. It may have had a correspondence with Kim Jong-un, a letter from President Obama, and other things that might be classified, stuff that definitely doesn't fall into the category of things I brought with me to the White House, a teddy bear that I really need to have close to me. There would seem to be some curation as to the documents that went into the boxes that went to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, although I can't say I totally understand what the, picture, the map with a Sharpie circle has to do with a letter to, another foreign leader. But the fact that he took some of those materials with him, and in particular, letters to foreign leaders, is not only problematic from a records perspective, it's problematic from a transition perspective. You really inhibit the next administration, by taking materials that are important to the national security of the United States. And correspondence with foreign leaders is of utmost importance when an incoming administration is trying to decide its policy and with respect to, different countries. So he not only inhibited future historians from being able to really hold him accountable through his records, he also really inhibited the next administration, which was hampered by not having a full accounting of how he handled certain correspondence, certain communications with other foreign leaders. I'm curious. I saw the reporting that said that the archives recovered 15 boxes of documents, but they didn't report on how many he took. And so their questions are actually not only, the documents that they recovered, but during that 1 year period, whether there were other materials that had a different fate.